Good evening, everybody. Dadman Walking 55 coming to you from the East Coast of the U.S. at 3 minutes after 7 tonight. Welcome to our first Chillin' with of 2025. If you remember, we had done quite a few of the Chillin' withs over the years. Sort of bumped it in and out last year in the turmoil and the hecticness of what was life in the Dadman Walking family last year. So it's one that I hope to get going again soon. We've got one tonight, one on Wednesday, and make it more of a regular thing each month, one or two per month, and we shall see how it goes. Bring you interesting guests, conversation, and honestly, really like a miniature squirrel stream, because on these streams, they're meant to be fun, laid back, and really we get to learn more about the guest, and hell, we do what they want. If they got stuff they want to talk about, we do that too, but also a chance to learn a little bit more about them and play a few games, do a few stories. So a little more structured this year, but you know me, our squirrel streams, we're in the USA, we do a question, 30 minutes later, we still hadn't answered the freaking question. So, well, that's where we're going tonight. I'll fill you in more along the way. I do have a special announcement that I want to make, probably about halfway in there. So I will ask my guests indulgence to deal with that, because it's a special thing with our squirrel stream on Friday nights, particularly. But let me move on now from repetitive and running on, as we can do sometimes here, because we're Dad Man. But this guest we have tonight is really an exciting, I think, more than a streamer. This guy is one of the hardest working people on YouTube, not only for himself, but for a lot of other people. The energy he has, and I tell you what, he puts his money where his mouth is, because he does not only promote, he is also there as much as he can. I don't know how he does it, time of the day, whether it's Twitter or on the streams or coming through the chats for these people. But let me introduce to you the one, the only, the real, and the great Tombi.
How are we doing? Do you know what? I've been looking forward to this since you asked me. I've been looking forward to this stream.
Well, I will tell you, it really would. One of the things that I've experienced in YouTube is, you always have that part of you like, well, do I want to impose on people? Do I want to ask people on, especially like some larger streamers and things like that? My wife and my kids always looked at me. They're like, you talk too much and da-da-da-da-da. But I've always asked questions when I go in public. I'm an auditor by trade. Yeah. I was raised by my dad. The only dumb question is the one you don't ask. So, yes. If you might as well ask, because asking's free. I've been so pleasantly surprised. People say yes. And like when you did with the 26 hour around the world stream, you were like, I'll be there. That's 100%. Cool. And then tonight it was like, well, yeah, I'll do it. So, but like I said, how do you find the time to get around everywhere you've got to do and do your own stuff?
Do you know what? It's actually quite funny, because most of it. So, I'll cast everyone's minds back probably 18 months before I actually started streaming. So I work during the day, office hours, 9 till say 5:30 UK time. And during that time, I've got the fortunate position of obviously working from home. So I'm a consultant coder by trade. So I'll be sitting there coding away, making applications and doing all sorts of snazzy, clever stuff. But it gives me an opportunity to sit there and bounce between 2 to 6 streams at any time. And I regularly do have 2 to 6 streams running at the same time, because I can pick up the conversation from each. That's just how my brain works. I'm just going to let my cat out.
Yeah, go ahead.
Jumped in the window. 2 seconds.
That's okay.
Come on, you. Out you go. Come on.
Bye, kitty.
Yeah, so that little kitty is Yanni. So she is actually named after our beloved Yarn Witch.
Right.
And
it's a black cat too, so that's perfect. So
tangentially, the reason why she ended up getting called Yanni is because she is ginger, black, white, and various different other colors, and she reminded us of a skein of misdyed wool, and
Oh, wow.
being into a pining cauldron, it was perfect just to name her Yanni, because she looked like a ball of wool at the time when she was a tiny little dart. So
that's too funny. And folks, we'll be talking to Yarn Witch on Wednesday night at 8
Wednesday,
o'clock
this
this
Wednesday
time
coming.
thing. I'm still trying to get her on one of the late night streams because I think it'd be fun, because those are our streams that we call the squirrel streams, where we truly just jump everywhere. One night on one of those streams, we covered like 36 topics in about 3 hours. I mean, we truly were bouncing everywhere. It was like, right, okay, we do this. And I'm, like I said earlier, I'm serious. It's like when we played Where in the USA, somebody asks a question and we get distracted. It could be 30, 35 minutes before we actually reveal the answer, just because, and it's a natural flow thing. So,
but that's exactly what you need. I mean, I'm sat there during a day watching streams, so I'm supporting as many streamers, spending as much time in other people's, and it's not just regulars either. So obviously, with some of the streams that I do, especially my Sunday spotlight, I'm regularly looking out for other small streamers like ourselves, other creators that haven't got many people watching them, might have very few subs, might have a lot of subs, but generally I try and look for people that just don't have much traffic, and I go and spend some time. And I've met so many good streamers over the course of the last 2 years. I mean, I was watching the likes of Heel versus Babyface. I was watching the Geeks and Gamers. I was watching Gary from Nerderotic almost religiously, because that was what was on in the evenings. But since starting to stream myself, so I'd work during a day watching other streamers, I come to the conclusion that I'm playing video games and generally chatting with the wife and friends in the evening, so why don't I stream that as well? And we came to the agreement that from, say, 7 o'clock at night UK time, 8 o'clock at night, through to midnight, sometimes even later than midnight UK.
I know.
I'd be streaming. I mean, I was so lucky. So when I first started streaming, obviously, as his brother, Mr. Porkchop, had just started streaming, and I had the pleasure of building his first PC. So he had solely been on Mac computers. He was streaming from his Xbox and things like that. So I had a very lucky interaction where I built his PC up and obviously became friends, and his streaming kicked off. It was absolutely amazing. And I sat there about 4 months later and thinking, do you know what? There's nothing he isn't doing that I can't do. So why don't I put my hands to it? Luckily, because of my work, I had a decent PC with decent capabilities. So I thought, well, let's set myself up. I'm fairly arty as well, so why not? Let's spend some time building my avatars and get my avatars and my panels and stuff like that sorted. Learn how to use OBS. Never used it before.
Right.
So I went through the process of kind of like taking each step at a time. So the way my brain works, I break all of the problems down into chunks and say, right, okay, this is the application I need to stream with. This is how to set up this account. This is how to do X, Y, Z. This is how to do some video editing, bit of thumbnails and stuff like that. And slowly the picture come together towards my first streams. And Mr. Porkchop was playing Conan with his brother and various other different streamers. You've got Jane Theory, Nina, Infinity. You've got Kara Creates, loads of other good and fairly big, well-known streamers.
Right.
And it was just a random chance that I bumped into a few of them whilst adminning on one of the servers. And all of a sudden, Baldur's Gate 3 arrives. And this was what I would say is my pinnacle break from being an absolute tiny unknown channel to being small, but people start knowing the name Tombi in various different circles. And it was Nina reaching out. So Nina, much bigger streamer, been streaming a long time. And she reached out and said, did I want to play Baldur's Gate 3 with her as a kind of like a multiplayer? 36 episodes of Baldur's Gate 3, where we would start at probably 9 o'clock in the evening UK time, and we would be finishing 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning UK time, knowing full well that I'm at work like an hour later.
Oh yeah, I've done a few of those. Yep.
And ever since being in the armed forces, so a lot of people like yourself know, I spend a lot of time in the armed forces doing mine disposal.
Mm-hmm.
And my training throughout a lot of this was all defense watches, sleep deprivation, and things like that. So I've never really been affected by, certainly not as far as I can recall back before my armed forces time, affected by sleep or tiredness. There's a couple of days I do get tired, granted, that everyone does. But for the most part, if I was to do a 24-hour stream, I'll do a 24-hour stream. The most recent one, my charity stream, where I did 24 hours, I was still up for 5 hours after it, just chatting to the wife.
I agree. I understand. The first time I did a 24-hour stream, it took me about 3 hours to wind down. It just because, the last time it wasn't, I think we were ready for sleep. But even then, it wasn't like just go to bed, boom. It's like going home from work, Mrs. used to work overnights till like 5 a.m, that type of thing. And the thing is, she asked me, looked at me once and said, do you go home and go straight to sleep? No, you take some time to wind down a bit.
You have to wind down.
Absolutely.
You have to wind down.
Well, before
I was going to say my biggest problem with winding down is my brain never does.
Right.
I was diagnosed 4 years ago with Asperger's, and it actually filled in a lot of the questions I had about myself, as in, if someone poses a challenge in terms of a technical challenge, how to do X, Y, Z, my brain cannot focus on anything else until that problem is solved. So woe betide anyone turned around and said, right, I need a coding product written up. You need to do this, that, and the other, because my brain would just keep on circling it for days until it's completed.
See, and that's something new that I'm running into people that are a lot more like that. And it is different when you start dealing with people, because I've talked to people and like, well, I got to get this stuff done before I can do something else or whatever. Yep. And it's a little different, because I'm like, I compartmentalize stuff, as part of getting an audit done. It does here, benchmarks, blah, blah. But then sometimes, I just have to escape. I'm able to shut down my brain, but it's bad on those nights when you can't. I can't imagine when you can't shut it down at all.
I turn to music. So I late at night, and Yanni will know this. So I will turn to music to try and turn my brain off from certain challenges, to kind of like not so much trick my brain, but to put enough white noise in place so my brain focuses on something else. Now the problem is, if I go too deep into the music, I then sit for 5 hours till silly o'clock in the morning listening to music. And I'll be sending Yanni messages saying this tune's good, this one's good, because we share music tastes quite a lot. So I'll be sending her music, she'll be sending me music, and next thing you know, the sun's coming up. But
it happens. It's great when you have a friendship like that, and when it happens like that, it's really, really cool. Yeah. So absolutely. Well, let's say hi to the people in the chat tonight.
Indeed.
Shall we? All right. We got, this guy, Legatus Legion Eyes. How are you tonight, Legatus? And Tombi said it's almost time. Fallout Dave, welcome. Good to see you tonight, Fallout Dave. And this is when this guy started watching my channel, I'm like, damn, I've hit the big time. It's Snorterpoopus Cuber. We have a polar bear in Florida who's going to be happy with the weather we got this week.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Definitely with it being cold.
Yes, exactly. So, Brogu, I'm sure Brogu, you're over in Texas. Glad to have you with us. Hopefully you're settled down and batten down the hatches, because it's going to start there come this way. And welcome, Jack Tarlad. Good to see you tonight. Hey, I see you over at Tombi's. Good to see you tonight. I think first time here, but great to see you tonight. Nerd Takes have been here a few times. Nerd Takes, great to see you with us tonight.
Jay, good to see you, mate.
Let's see, as we go through, I think that the missus is here. Hello. By the way, the missus just made something for me tonight that I will unveil as the show goes on.
Mrs. Dubman.
Yes. You guys, yes, exactly. So listen, I'm going to pitch, and yes, please subscribe. Please make sure you're still subscribed to not only my channel, but to the missus. Actually, if you subscribe to anybody, go to her channel first because she's trying to monetize, and she's the brain. She's actually what got me into streaming too, partially because she's done all my graphics, all my work like that, and I would not be here without her doing this. And I tell you what, she is my best Fortnite player, buddy. I will say when we play Fortnite together, it's wonderful streaming. And she was a little fiery today because we were having some sweats and stuff like that. So it's but it was good. We did that. Let's see,
but it's also wholesome to spend time with your wife because I've just recently started a podcast with mine, and it's just another opportunity just to spend some quality time together.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, because the two T's in a pod, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
That is, and I love that concept. We can talk a little bit more. Let me get through here real quick because Brogu's saying to you, I think it's great that you spent time with the streamers that were smaller. They need support even more than big streamers. 100%. I tell you what. Just see, we love lurkers too. Let's not say we love lurkers. I know sometimes people can't either talk because you're at work. You're busy, or sometimes, if you say something, people might get you. But we do like when at least say hi that you're like, because we like to acknowledge somebody's there if you can or want to. But lurkers are always appreciated. And, because as a small streamer, it's nice to see, especially when you get up to double digits in a chat and when people are participating, it helps the stream. Because as far as I'm concerned, the chats help drive the streams, especially like with the way we do our talk shows like this or the late night squirrel streams. I mean, they're on fire. That's why sometimes it takes us 40 minutes to answer a damn question. It's because the chat's on fire. We've gone 3 ways, and they're like, "Dad, man, you're going to answer the question? What is the question?"
Yep.
That's the freaking question. Now the missus does listen to thunderstorm audio. Because she goes not having the words. This is weird for me though. I use history videos, World War II specifically, Pacific Theater. There's talk where she can't stand words. I can't stand music because music gets me beating, and then especially the words. But if I hear people just talking about a serious topic, I will drift with it. It's just funny how everybody's. But yeah, I mean, you can't or she can't. It's just interesting how everybody's different, but you've got to find what
thunderstorms. Rain, thunderstorms, waves, any of that kind of like white noise, which is almost rhythmical, but it's randomized throughout. That I like listening to, but it will still take me a while to drift off. Music is the downfall, though. So if anything's got too much of a repetitive beat, and it's usually dance-related music or anything like that, if that comes into the playlist, my brain instantly just goes buff, buff, buff. Right, okay, I'm not going to sleep.
Yeah, exactly. And the miss is big with like a window. There's a window, and if you pass the window, you're up. So I understand. We got a lot of people that like the rain and thunderstorms in here. And like I said, if you don't subscribe, Mrs. will turn into Godzilla and stomp. Oh, stomp me! I didn't read that fully. Dang it, Fallout Dave. But yeah, we're playing Fortnite the other night, and they now have Godzilla in it. And if you get in the portal first, you can play as Godzilla for a bit. So
nice.
And I do agree. Yeah, having an active chat will help with the algorithm. Because I tell you, I mean, we talked about it a little bit. You've talked about it. Sure. See, I'm sure I'm not a fan favorite of the algorithm because I don't stick to one thing. I like to do different things. I like to, I do this mainly as a hobby, whereas the missus is focused on monetization. I do it to make friends, talk to people, and as a social interaction. So I'm sure I'm not going to make YouTube any money. So because it's like we go up in subs, we're down in subs, and it's just like at this point we just use the force, go with it, and have fun with what we're doing.
It's the constant dance. Now the obviously since I started streaming, I've seen very similar things where I'd go up a lot of subs, then a couple of days later you're back down. And one of the things that I found is YouTube promotes 3 different ways. It prefers long form content, it prefers shorts, and it least prefers live streams, because you've got to think of it from an ad revenue perspective. Live streams, they can't guarantee that the live stream is going to be suitable for ad revenue, so that's pushed the least. YouTube Shorts doesn't earn them a great deal, but it's in front of a lot of people, so that's number 2. But your long form, greater than 5 minutes, is where they're going to make their most money. So for any content creators or any streamers, and this is why I'm kind of like changing some of the things that I'm doing, because I've solely been a live streamer ever since day 0. I'm actually switching now so that 2 of the days a week I'm doing some form of long form content is uploaded, whether it's on a Monday and a Friday or whatever days they may be, but just to start bringing in the numbers. And case in point, how over the course of the last 18 months of learning some of these things, I made some kind of like extended soundtrack game music related. And the 6 videos that I uploaded, I've had more hits on those, because they're uploaded content, not live, than probably the last 10 to 20 live streams combined from 6 videos. And it's all down to how YouTube wants to make money, and they're only going to make money if the ads revenue is going to be there. And that's your long form videos, then your shorts, live streaming is last. And another cat's coming in now.
Hey, hello. How many cats do you have, by the way?
Got 3.
So really?
We've got Cosmo, which is the elder one, and Yanni and Salem. So you just see the little black one over there.
Well, you know
Yanni
what?
And Salem, they're all siblings. Cosmo is from a earlier litter, and then the parents had another litter, and out popped Salem and Yanni. So Salem is the black cat.
Now the one wanted to be let out, and the other 2 are happy in the room.
No, so what they do, little bastards. So excuse the pan tilt camera. So what they do is they run around the house, jump on the garage roof, and come through my window. A daily game with them. They'll run down the stairs, they'll bounce out the house somehow, and then they'll run around the whole of the house. Wrong way. Come back here, Bob. They'll run around the house and then jump on the roof and then come back through the window. And they do this all the time.
God.
Constantly.
So you're able to have an open window?
Yeah.
That's a foreign concept over here. Usually you're afraid of somebody coming in it, not a cat.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that where I live currently, we're on basically in an armed forces garrison town.
Okay.
Where crime is at an all-time low.
Right.
And you can guarantee that most people that live in the area are all either ex-armed forces or armed forces. We've all got dogs. We've all got decent protection, CCTV, you name it. So crime is near non-existent on our estate. So
you know what areas to avoid.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Stranger in the area, they'll be seen.
Yeah, plus I've got the 2 Bernese Mountain Dogs downstairs, and the elder Bernese Mountain Dog, she terrifies Amazon drivers, which is freaking hilarious. She absolutely terrifies any driver.
What type of dogs again?
Bernese Mountain Dogs.
Are they big dogs?
Yeah, so Poppy, the elder one, is 75 kilograms. So what's that in freedom units? Kilograms. What do you normally use? Pounds?
Yeah.
So if I went for 75, so Poppy is 165 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, and she's like massive. She's huge. Right, let me let Salem out. Come here.
Oh, that's okay.
Come on.
Oh, wow.
There you go. Yeah,
they had to be beautiful dogs. I just was looking at a picture. Man, they are beautiful.
Yeah, so Poppy is 75 kilos, and Rosie, who is only 5 months old, she is 61 pounds already. So she's a lump, and she's huge.
Oh yeah, I can see. I mean,
here comes another one. Here's the 3rd one. So Cosmo's just come in. I tell you, little socks. Now he's headed back out.
I love it. I love it because every stream that I follow, usually the cats take over.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm just waiting for him to come in now. He's gone back out.
When people start panicking about their cats, I'm like, hey, I'm used to it. Cats take over all the YouTube, Twitch streams, and sometimes puppies, but hey, cats are like, hey, I want attention. You're starting to talk. They're like they truly are like children. They want attention too. So, all right. Well, let's do something fun a little bit. I got a few questions. Let me. I think you sort of touched on a little bit a little while ago, but what inspired you to start streaming?
Right. I suppose it was a catalogue of things, and the most, or certainly the biggest trigger was helping Mr. Porkchop get his PC up and running and see him starting to stream. Because I was watching Mr. Porkchop all day, every day. Oh, here he comes. Hi, Cosmo. You coming in? Come on.
Yep. Hey, say hi to the people.
You'll see. You might see his tail in a minute.
Yeah.
Come on.
Hi, Sashi. Welcome in. Speaking of passing through, hey, Sashi over Malaysia.
All right, Sashi. Let me let Cosmo out.
Okay. That's okay.
The only saving grace is at least the dogs can't come through the window.
No, I bet they could knock a lot of crap.
I can imagine it now.
All the damage and carnage
giant
they
dog
would do.
coming through the window.
Hey, one of the questions I was going to ask you about, what is the craziest funny memory you've had from a stream that you were on or were hosted? And I'm sitting here thinking, like, this is the cat parade. It's like, I've never seen the cats on your stream like this. Maybe I haven't watched enough, but that's like tonight. They're like, hey, we want attention, Dad.
Honestly, I can guarantee 2 of the cats will be in every single stream.
Really?
Guarantee it.
Okay.
Yeah, they come in all of a sudden, and the worst thing is that I've got my mixer over on the left hand side. Now, the mixer's got the usual sample pads and sound effects and things like that. And I guess the funniest moment, not necessarily being on a stream, but I've got certain sound effects which are probably not safe for work. And unfortunately, the cats don't realize this. And in the middle of a client call, I get one that was very expletive being pressed. And the sheer panic on my face to try and turn this sound off. As I know full well that if it plays for 3 seconds or more, and Jack in chat actually was the creator of this particular extract of this particular audio track from one of our Hyundai Chinwags. It gets very, very not safe for work pretty quickly. And so many times they've walked across it, and the cats love to interact. The cats do love to interact.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've seen it on so many streams. The dogs usually stay quiet more than we have a friend that's a streamer though, but they did a puppy reward treat thing.
Yep.
The animal adjusted, because when they know that there's a stream, they're always around and waiting for that puppy redemption. So, but the cats, I don't care what streamer is, they got them over, they're fed, everything else, and then all of a sudden, 10 minutes in the stream, hey, I'm coming, I want attention. It's great. And that's what I love with it, though. I love with it because, a lot of times some people could get so stuck into the gotta be first class, so serious and all this, but it's like, it's just a moment of life that's kind of cool to see,
I see. The thing is that coming back to the question of looking at streaming and things like that.
And hey, Wade.
The one thing I've always, you're right, Wade. How you doing, mate? It's good to see you. The one thing that I've always said is that I'm never going to take myself seriously doing any of these things. I'm not going to be in a position where I'm going to start kind of like preaching to anybody or anything like that. I like to have a laugh. I like to have a good chin wag. And obviously we spoke before the stream about what a chin wag is.
Yeah, please go ahead and define it for people that have not heard that term.
Yeah, so on a Wednesday evening, I host a podcast called the Hump Day Chin Wag. Obviously, Hump Day being Wednesday, fine. But a chin wag for us Brits, us in the UK is basically a session where our chins are wagging because we're having a good conversation. So for me, the chin wag was obviously one of my avenues where I can talk a little bit more seriously, but not from a preachy nature. We look at TV, news, gaming, stuff that's happening in around the world, and just generally digest it, understand it from our various different positions, our different perspectives on things. But ultimately, it's not designed to be kind of like that preachy sermon of what we see on some other channels or some other podcasts, but it's more just this is what's happening in the world. And we've had discussions from AI, discussions from Trump administration, and we've had discussions about football, sports, games, films, absolutely everything. But the podcast came about because I was doing nothing but live streaming video games. And I knew that I had something more to kind of like offer from a entertainment perspective, even if there was only 10 people in chat. Even if there was only one person in chat, I'm quite happy to have just one person chatting away, because I like that interaction between me and the guys that are turning up. I like the interaction with the guys on the panel, and nothing beats. So you've got myself, Smooth the DJ, you've got Stasis Geek, you've got Greg at Kadaf Gaming, and Greg, poor fucker. We take the piss out of him constantly. He is the butt of all jokes when it comes to the Hump Day Chinwag. And the poor bastard had a birthday the other day.
Yeah.
And he realized that he wasn't 54, he was actually 56, because he had actually skipped a couple of years. He didn't realize. And the funny thing was, there's been this running gag between Greg being older than the wife, my wife, who's 55. And all of a sudden, Greg had his birthday, and suddenly he's actually older than the wife. And I leapt up. As soon as I found this up, I leapt up and shouted down the stairs. Everybody could hear me. I just literally raced out the door, went, "Wife, Greg's 56." And she went, "What?" And then all of a sudden, she's come on to into the chat and starts taking the absolute mickey out of Greg.
Oh.
And you've got Jack Tarlad, you've got Nerd Takes when his work allows it. Yarn Witch is a regular on the channel as well. The wife pops in every now and again. Hanayama, Abe, who frequents quite a few of the channels. So we've got a good mix of different perspectives, different ideas, different age groups, different countries as well. It's not just people from the UK. We've got Europeans in there. You've got Americans in there. It's kind of like get the best of the both worlds. And yeah, throw in the special guests now and again. We've had special guests from the UK's, from America, and lots of other places. So yeah, Hump Day, Chinwag, good place to generally have a laugh. And that's where I have most of my laughs.
Oh, I bet. I understand. I understand that's kind of what we've done with our late night streams and some of the chill chat things. Is it just and honestly, that's the way I do Fortnite. If you notice, we will get competitive near the end of a match.
Yep.
But I have the running thing of blowing up every friggin' gas station in Fortnite just for the fun of it. And because I burned out on the game before playing so much solos, and everybody that streams it is always so competitive and which, don't get me wrong, it's how you're built. But I want to be more than just. I mean, because it's kind of boring to sit there watch a serious game played sometimes. Add something new and dynamic to it. So the friggin' gas station explosions going on like 2 years now. And when I don't do it, people start asking for it. You should have seen the one season when Fortnite had no gas stations. It was like, I can't do it, folks. But hey, let me welcome in the great, glorious Miss Smart Muses. Hello, Teresa.
Smart Muses. How you doing?
Yes.
Good to see you,
Hey,
Teresa.
you know what, Teresa? JT Kirk and I will be on sports tomorrow night. We are looking to move beyond American football. And Tombi, this is one thing I was going to warn you when you move to Tennessee.
Yep.
Football is American. Over here, it's going to be soccer. Okay. I know, but it's going to be a transition that those Southerners are going to remind you about. We
can't use the word transition with a straight face. There's going to be a a compromise on some of the language used.
Well, I tell you, JT is Bayard Munich. So hey, we'll talk your team. You come by, we'll talk as much world football, because it's something we're trying to branch out beyond just typical American sports too. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yep. Teresa, just curiously, what football team do you support? What football team do you support?
Yeah,
That's
Miss
the
Martin.
interesting question.
Yeah, Teresa, we've had on a few times, and she actually popped on one of our late nights too. One recently, really great.
Do you know how? So obviously, I recognise. Oh God.
What does that mean?
Nottingham Forest Football Club.
So, who do you cheer for?
Sadly, Teresa's going to laugh. I've supported Liverpool ever since I was 6 years old. My dad lives just outside Liverpool, so hence why I'm tied to Liverpool. And finally, we're actually having some decent seasons. The last 5 years, we've actually done quite well.
That's like being a Georgia fan. I'm stuck with my kid and family on out for friggin' Georgia. I'm a Florida fan. Like, no. But I gotta, before we get off,
Brogu.
Yeah, good night, Brogu. Take care. Y'all stay safe over there. Take care, sir. Oh yeah, that's understandable. You have a legacy. But I will ask you this question though. Because the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars also owns an English football club. The Jaguars are one of the friggin' worst pathetic teams in the NFL year in, year out. A couple lucky seasons. They just fired their coach. Everybody's mad because they fired the coach, but not the general manager. We get the bad rosters again and again. Well, his owner Shad Khan, but he also owns the Fulham Football Club over there.
Yeah, Fulham.
And from what I understand, it is not a very good organization or a good soccer team over there. I don't even think they play at the Premier League.
I think they're in Division 1. Let me just check. Fulham FC. I think they're in. Oh no, they are in the Premier League.
They got up. Well,
they're actually doing quite well. They are actually just slightly higher than the mid-table, so they're actually currently 10th in the Premier League.
I may have to have you come on with me and JT one night because I don't understand how all those levels work. Because I guess if you don't win enough, you get pushed down. And that's where they were years ago. And people jumped on it because the Jaguars suck so bad. Well, he owns a bad English football team. Well, they got better, it sounds like. But I'd like to learn more about how that whole process works. So, but yeah. And hello, Peter Venkman fansite, also saying happy birthday to the great Tom Baker.
Correct.
The Doctor Who. So let me go off tangent real quick. Do you like Doctor? I presume you like Doctor Who. Who's your favorite Doctor?
I would actually say Capaldi. But the problem is that the thing is I like Matt Smith as well. Now I didn't get into Doctor Who until much later, because as I was growing up, I was into Star Trek and Stargate SG-1 and everything else.
Right.
So Doctor Who for me didn't really come about until probably 2015. And I never really went back in time to kind of like watch it from the beginning because my brain liked the sci-fi aspects and the futuristic aspects of Star Trek. And don't get me wrong, SG-1 and Next Generation were both campion areas, but because the production was a lot better with those, that's where I spent my time. Because I mean, the thing is, when Next Generation was about, I was 15, 16 when that was airing. So for me, Doctor Who didn't come until a little bit later than that. And for me, I enjoyed probably Capaldi's the most. I watched Eccleston, watched Capaldi, watched Matt Smith, but outside of that, Doctor Who wasn't really a fan favorite at our house.
Yeah, I didn't grow up. My parents were not British comedy people. Southerners. We basically got British comedy on PBS on Saturday nights one time a week. So it wasn't until I got married and the missus, which I always say brought me up with class. You know, I didn't watch all this stuff till I got married and got into these things as interest. What hooked me was the freaking Weeping Angels.
Yeah,
I'm walking in one day from work. My oldest kid are watching the show, and I'm sitting there. And I'm starting to freaking freak out. It was the scariest damn thing I'd seen in a long time. with what they did with those Weeping Angels. And then David Tennant was I thought, a very
David
good
Tennant,
doctor too. But I mean, it's like it was like so cool that you could get scared as hell, but it wasn't bloody, it wasn't violent. It was like so psychological that, I mean, that thing hooked me into the whole series. And then I started watching it. We'd watch a Christmas special and all that stuff until Capaldi, and then after that, and some of the writing near the ends, we kind of fell out. And of course, after that, it's been like,
2017 onwards, it just started falling apart pretty quickly, and it was noticeable as well.
It
was
very,
noticeable.
Very, very,
yeah,
yes.
I was religious on Next Generation. Peter Venkman, I was religious on it. When Next Generation, then straight into Deep Space Nine, straight into Voyager. Watched every single episode as they aired in the UK on Sky One. It was at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I would get in from school, drop everything. I wouldn't care where anything landed, because it was. I would finish school about 4 o'clock. By the time I get home, it's close to 5. Get in, drop everything, and just sit in front of the spare TV, and that was my evenings. An hour, and then bounce onto the next episode the next day, and I loved it.
Yeah, I tell you, there's a good with shows like that. Mine were like old 70s TV shows like Emergency, some of the real life ones in the US type things. But I was always more of a Star Wars person though than Star Trek. So
don't get me wrong. I enjoyed my Star Wars as well.
Yeah.
I've always liked Star Wars. Certainly 4, 5, and 6. I've got the despecialized editions as well, which I'll always keep close to me. 1, 2, and 3, I was about when they came out. I was born after the first Star Wars came out. So obviously I didn't watch Star Wars until late 80s. I was living in Gibraltar at the time. So that's when I first saw Star Wars. But I was instantly hooked. Anybody that knows me, as soon as you turn around to me and say sci-fi, tech, computers, AI, robots, anything like that, and I'm instantly hooked on any of that. And so whether it was Star Trek, Star Wars, I was fascinated with sci-fi, I still am.
It's interesting though, because that was kind of cool, because Star Trek, Next Generation actually gave you a weekly series. It's kind of like what people ultimately had hoped Star Wars would bring us. Some good week to week. Now, granted, I've watched Next Generation. It's got good, it's got bad, like everything else does, But it in a whole, it did a good job of moving Trek forward for people that wanted to see it. And that was a good thing with it, having those daily shows versus you see what we got. I'm not going to detour this chat onto Star Wars and its problems, because everybody knows Darth Maul died, never to come back. I don't care what Rebels or anybody else said.
Yep.
So sometimes, we talked about getting preachy. That's one of the things I get preachy about on this channel, and I could call it a dab in rant. But yeah. So Fallout Dave loved the Doctor till Grumpy Doctor. Let me catch up real quick. Bowsette, hello Bowsette. And Miss Martin Muses remembers the great times I was in college. Well, you want to know what something I watched in college was? I get home, I got stuck into friggin' American soap operas. How? I don't know. Why? I don't know. But we were limited to 3 channels.
Dallas and Dynasty.
Well, we didn't have cable back then. It's like, oh, geez. So yes, Legata says Fridays were great. TOS, TNG, and DSN, and then X-Files. Oh yeah,
X-Files. Yep, X-Files was 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock UK time as well.
And the missus just highlighted the other day, the Smoking Man recently had a birthday. So exactly. Yeah, or I think, did he pass away? If he had passed away, I can't remember if he passed away, but it would have been his birthday. But it was recently.
Teresa said those were great times. I was in college. I was in basically school going into college as well. So basically the same age, mate.
Yeah.
Same age.
Yeah. So
they were the days.
Again, didn't get an alert. I know it happens. So hey, but hey, you got here. Days of Our Lives. Yes. Days of Our Lives. Santa Barbara. Santa Barbara was really, really interesting. That one. Sorry, damn it. Damn it. No more. But yes. All right. But hey, Let me let's hit a couple more questions. Because I want to go through. Let me do a couple memes real quick here for you, just to show a little fun and get your reaction. So you're like the Marvel universe, or
Yes.
you like Marvel,
Yeah.
right? Do you? What is your current situation with it? Do you? I know it's an open-ended question, but are you old school like Marvel, new school, or what do you? How would you
Old school,
summarize it?
new school, up to phase 4 beginning. There hasn't been much great since. However, I am desperately hoping that Daredevil season 4 is going to be absolutely amazing. I loved Deadpool versus Daredevil. Sorry, Daredevil season 4. I absolutely loved Deadpool and Wolverine. That was great, but pretty much phase 4 has been an absolute shit show. Phase 5, nothing real better. But give me the originals, give me the cartoons, give me the comics. I've got plenty of stuff up in the loft, and give me the phase 1, 2, and 3 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Gotcha.
So hit me.
Gotcha. And no, I unfortunately it wasn't Grandma. I just oh, but yes, and Legata said MCU and then with Endgame. But hey, listen, let's have a laugh at Marvel's expense, shall we? But let's all hell.
100%.
I know you got a great American hat. Nothing like America here. You know, all
Mate,
from our great UK friend here.
This is in celebration of today, because it is the best day I can see in recent American history. And
Yeah.
do you know what? I really do think that Daddy Trump is going to sort a lot of the problems out, and a lot of the countries around the world, especially Western countries, are basically going to have to follow suit. And I'm desperately hoping that the UK starts correcting its ways, because the UK is not the UK anymore. Hence why I'm leaving and moving to the US, by the way. But
let me ask a question before we get to laugh, and and this is a very serious question, because I've read things on Twitter, I've read different things, especially like people of religious backgrounds. There's talk that you can't sing a song out on the British streets, or if you say certain things, you could be arrested.
Correct.
Or that is the current environment that's over there, right?
Do you know what? It's really, really funny. So in my town, I could probably get away with it, because predominantly it's white, UK-based citizens. If I go to Birmingham, if I go to London, if I go to any of the big major cities, and just point out various different things with certainly Muslim religions and things like that, I could get arrested pretty quickly. Pretty quickly. And that's not for even doing anything obtuse or getting in anybody's face. I could just stand outside with a placard saying, "My God is bigger than your God." I'm not religious at all, but that's beside the point. It's more for the example. If I say my God is better than your God, I would be arrested within probably about 5 minutes. There'd be a complaint made.
And social media posts too. We're seeing reports and stuff like that, and all that. It's like I don't blame you for wanting to get out. But hey, the states are big and they're welcome. You're picking a good state of Tennessee. Why the hell did you pick Tennessee?
Before I answer that question, Legatus just asked a question. Tombi, are you into flat rim hats, snapback, stretch fit, pro fit? Basically any hat. Most of them on the back wall are all snapbacks.
Wow.
But I do have quite a few pro fits.
That's a nice presentation of hats.
Yeah, so behind, let's move this one out of the way. So I've got the Japanese, I've got Canada's, I've got the UK, and then up to the top, I've got Dungeons and Dragons, got 2 World of Warcrafts, got Naruto, got a Sonic the Hedgehog one, Red Ribbon. Then we're over to the black one, which is Warhammer. Then the next black one is Terminator, then Deadpool. Below that, I've got Ghostbusters and Thundercats. And I've got one special one at the bottom, which is Killdozer, after the guy who had his business absolutely scuppered by a big business and made the Killdozer and drove through the building. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you, so do you have a favorite cartoon or anime?
I would say one of my favorite animes of all time is Ghost in the Shell, because of the way my brain is. I love the idea of it. I love the story. I'm currently enjoying the hell out of Solo Leveling season 2. Anybody that hasn't seen Solo Leveling, you've really got to see it. It's absolutely fantastic.
Mrs. and the kids are into the anime. I'm more. I'll watch Gotcha Man from the original Battle of the Planets and that stuff, but I don't know a lot with it. We did see Panzer Un Girls, that one at one point. That was recommended. It was really, really cool. But I wanted. Let's see.
Oh yeah, I was going to answer the question about Tennessee.
Yeah. Because you got Teresa wanting you to come to Texas. I've already tried to tell you to come to Florida, and Fallout Dave said the Brits love Florida.
Yeah, so Brits, a lot of the Brits will like Florida, like they like Spain, south of France, and things like that because of the heat. So Brits, it's generally wet, miserable, and any form of sun, and the Brits will generally flock to it. Now, I'm not quite like that. The wife is. She will go on holiday to the hottest place if she could. Give me snow, give me mountains and snow, and a log cabin with log fires, and I'm happy. That's my idea of a holiday.
You'd be happy up there. You would be.
That's my idea of the holiday. So now, Tennessee was closest in terms of UK weather. So it is very much a case of just take UK, just move over to Tennessee, and it's pretty much like for like. Apart from the fact that there's different creepy crawlies, more things that can kill you.
Yeah.
And we actually said this to my wife last week, and she hadn't actually thought about it up until then. She didn't want to know about the creepy crawlies until we mentioned it in the podcast. And then when I was playing with some of the guys gaming after the stream, she pops into the chat and the expletives were plenty as she's realized that there's everything from snakes to black widows and everything. And I'm like, well, you're going to a continent which is absolutely huge, where everything is not Australia bad, but still there's plenty enough there to want to kill you. So
yeah, she went like Florida then, because everybody equates Florida to Eastern Australia. So we got a lot of the similar. Now, Ghost in the Shell is one that you mentioned. I've not seen the animated series. I did see the live action movie with my kid years ago. I thought it was pretty good. Is it accurate in any way? I mean, because I know a lot of times people hate the movies versus the real stuff.
It's actually closer than most people give it credit for. So even if you just look at the opening sequence of where Major's sat on top of the building, and she takes her exterior clothes off, and then she flips off the side of the building, like for like, almost carbon copy from anime or from the manga over to the film, and it's not so bad all the way through. Certainly, you get a little less with the movie, but you can pick up the bits from the TV series that they've brought into it. So definitely, if you watch one, you can then see how and why they've structured it. It's like both anime movies combined. Yeah, correct.
Okay, I'll tell the missus put that on the list. I'll watch that sometime, because I watched it with my oldest kid in the theaters. It was a really good movie, and I was interested because I usually check out on some of this stuff. Here's a question: do you prefer subtitles or dubbing? Because I like dubbing because I can fall asleep to it, but as I get older, my hearing is not the same, so I can see the subtitles. But Mrs. is, when it comes to anything foreign language, it has to be subtitled.
I can go either way. I prefer subtitles, but interestingly, because of the amount I've watched, I actually started to pick up some of the native language anyway. So sometimes I'm able to just listen to it and know what they're talking about. So, I mean, the thing is, once you start with the repetition, you soon pick up common phrases, and it's odd to turn around and say, "Well, I know roughly what's going on" without the subtitles there. But dubbing, you're at risk of the person that's actually reading the dub or reading the script has misunderstood what the interpretation is.
Right.
So, for me, if you want to do it faithfully, it would be subtitled.
We see, and Mrs. has told me, especially with like some of the Korean shows, because she picks out good shows, and I'm like, we watch a lot of the Asian dramas and stuff, and it's better television than American television. Hell, half the time we still use TV shows from you guys or Japan. You know, we don't have an original thought in our brain for network television. But what she's also said, especially like you could have like fuck, or you could have a word, you can have different phrases or things, but they don't quite get it right when it's dubbed because either they don't use the right word selections, or it can be slightly contextually off, and that's why like she likes the subtitle in the original language. Mrs. Yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of the dubs, they do not really have the opportunity to review the script before they record. Also, subs are just dubs and text. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean the thing is Mrs. Dadman is also correct there, because if you're not giving the voice actors enough time with the scripts, they don't fully appreciate the whole context of everything that goes on, and so sometimes you can lose a bit in that. And most recently, you've got the localization issues, which certainly we've talked about on our podcast, where they're deliberately misinterpreting things for certain ideology.
Yeah,
which is naughty.
It happens.
Yep.
Let's see. Okay. Like I said, let's get back to the thing. Everybody wants you to move to their state, Tommy. Don't you feel appreciated?
Yeah, I think the amount of offers we've had so far, we've certainly Texas, Florida, up north towards New Hampshire, over to the west side towards Washington State. There's certainly been offers and say, come here, come there, come everywhere. But I think for both myself and the wife, Tennessee, because of some of the stuff that's around Tennessee, because of what we want to do in our later lives, because I mean, we're coming over to buy some land, to build our property, to ring fence it and everything, and raise a complete flock of Bernese Mountain Dogs.
Hey, there you go.
So
that works.
We want a lot of them. So we need the land, we need the space. We don't want it too hot, because obviously the Bernese Mountain Dogs, they prefer it cooler. And give them snow every now and again, which we know Tennessee's got snow at the minute. Would be absolutely perfect for them.
If we get it tomorrow night or Wednesday, it's going to be a hell really for us over, because it's so rare for us. We did a stream about it in '89, and you would laugh at it. Everybody laughs at it when we show it, but it shut us down for 3 days. So
yeah.
Let's see. The dub before 2045 was in-house by Funi and Suck.
Funi,
show. They should have left to the original dub studio. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, listen. Guess what? I have to have you on for one of our late night streams, like on Wednesday or Friday, if you can't sleep. Because you just experienced one of the rabbit trails we just took. They weren't squirrel streams. That's why we call them squirrels. We bounce tree to tree, nut to nut, based on what's going on. Because I asked you about what you thought about Marvel, right?
Yep.
Well, for all you Americans out there, especially, when you realize everyone in the Marvel universe speaks English, which means that Britain must have colonized the entire universe.
Yes, laughs in British.
I'm forbidden from doing British and French accents by the missus. It's not pretty. So, but yes, I figure you would appreciate this being here.
Oh, 100%. I mean, we've colonized everything. We took over the world.
Yeah,
and then we
never set on the British Empire. Yeah, don't even get me started on Hong Kong. Yeah, that's.
Please don't even get me started on Hong Kong.
I know. I'm right there with you with that one. So, but hey.
Well, it's like Diego Garcia at the minute, isn't it?
I'm not sure. I had to read up on that. I don't know.
What's up with them. So the UK government is aiming to give the island where basically Diego Garcia back to Mauritius. And Mauritius have not got any original claim to it. The only reason why they're giving it back to the Mauritians is because we stranded a load of them there. So they thought, let's give it back to them. Well, they turned around and said, we want 800 billion over the course of 10 years, and renting for the Diego Garcia air base itself, they wanted something like 1 billion a year.
I'm like, I remember Diego Garcia from the Gulf War, I remember that. It's down in the Indian Ocean, right?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, okay.
So it's a strategic position for both UK, American, and we need that position. So why is the UK government intent on getting rid of it and giving it back, and then costing the British taxpayer, a hell of a lot to keep the lease over our heads over it? Absolutely insane.
Yeah, I know. Well, hey, it is
Crazy.
adorable. But hey, how are the roads over in Britain?
For the most part, the roads are actually okay. We do have our potholes.
Yeah. Oh,
We
yeah.
definitely
saw
do have
that.
our potholes.
We talked about potholes a few days ago, and Britain was kind of interesting that y'all drive on the left because. But go ahead. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No, you're all right.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got a funny way of dealing with potholes, and
yes, you do.
Yes, you do. Normally, we ask the council to fill them in, but the council are not very quick. So, what we generally do is draw penises around the potholes.
Yes, sir, you do. There you
go. You can almost guarantee the second you draw a penis around it, the council will come in and fill it in.
So this is not just a rare.
No, this is countrywide.
I like to say wanksy too. So
yeah.
Oh my God.
Pothole penises, they're called.
Wow.
Yep.
Apparently, a penis is worse than a giant hole in the road.
It is
the subtitle for this.
Yep.
See, now this is from somebody from Alabama. Yeah, that's awesome. Potholes are universal. Balzette's laughing tonight. Oh my gosh.
Honestly, I can probably go down the road where I am, and you'll find pothole penises everywhere.
I did. Oh wow! This is why I saved this for you. I had it queued up for some late nights and all, but I had to ask you about it. But I would have never known that. I thought this was like possibly just just a randomized joke. But to know that this,
it's a true thing countrywide, and that's what makes it even funnier.
Yeah,
you can't go to any corner of the country and not find a pothole penis.
Is Manchester near you, or is that
no? So Manchester's probably, if I was to drive to Manchester, is probably 2.5, 3 hour drive. So that would be me going northwest. So it's a fair old trek across the country. Now the funny thing is that we talk about 3.5 hour drives, and that's all the way across from one side of the country to the other in the UK, and that's probably not even halfway across the states in America.
Mm-hmm.
Because the scales are just so completely obtuse over there. And that's the funny thing when we're looking at our itinerary for visiting the US in May. So when we're coming across, we're starting off in Boston, going from Boston to Salem down to Sleepy Hollow, Sleepy Hollow down to Baltimore, so we can then take trains into Washington. Going from Baltimore down to Virginia to see one of the other guys. Virginia across to Knoxville, and then we're into Tennessee, and then we're starting to look at houses and look at land.
Yeah.
But some of these journeys are like 12 hours. It's like, Jesus Christ. I can go from the southernmost tip of the UK all the way to the north and back again, and it would be 12 hours.
Listen, Miss and I did, and we have videos out on my channel where we went to Yellowstone a couple years ago. We were doing some 12, 13-hour drive days. It was a beautiful experience. We did streaming on the road to help pass time. And but yeah, it was a hard drive. It's hard trying to drive that much. We missed a lot. There's a lot that we wish we could have stopped to see, but I needed to take a few more days off, and we were trying to keep up with family. And we kind of at the point said, well, screw you, we're running off on our own, because it was like they just trying to keep a big group of people together. Like, you just forget it. And
you're trying to herd cats at that stage.
Yeah. Oh,
you are literally trying to herd cats. But that's why I like this camera. So this camera that I've got is Wi-Fi enabled. You can plug the internet into it, but I can actually stream directly to YouTube with it as well.
Yeah.
So very much like my mobile phone, I'll be able to plug this in. It's got a battery. It's battery backed up. So I'm intending to bring this camera across, and we are going to do streams as we're going about different places. Stop off at a diner. We want to do all of the stereotypical things. We're going to jump on the I-95 and go down the coast. On our way down from Sleepy Hollow down to Baltimore, and we're going to go down the coast road, which I think is the I-395, whatever it may be. But there's actually a pub in Old Slaybrook that I found randomly. I was just like, let's stop off there as we're traveling down, and it's got the old UK phone boxes in it. I was like, amazing. Why has it got UK phone boxes? Don't care. I'm going there for dinner. I'm going to stop off there and get myself a a lunch or a steak or whatever it may be. It's a
Mhm.
lot of shellfish, which is great because I love shellfish.
Right. Yeah, road stop diners are cool if you find mom and pop places. I mean,
Yeah.
some will be kind of rough, but you know what? Sometimes it's the best surprise. And yeah, like
Yep.
we go through Georgia to see our kid. The thing is, a lot of the back roads they go slower, so it can take a little bit longer to get through some of the back roads. So, but
And
yeah,
this
it's
this is what we're anticipating, that it's going to take a good couple of hours to go from anywhere to anywhere else. So it's going to give us the opportunity to find these mum and pop style diners, stores, convenience stores, you name it. We want to kind of like take in as much of that as we go down towards Tennessee, because we've got rodeos booked. We're looking at all different sorts of stuff. I'm actually trying to see if I can get some tickets to NASCAR as well, because there's certain things going on at certain times, and I'm thinking, it's our first holiday in 5 years. So we're coming across for 3 weeks, nowhere near enough time to see hardly anything. But the first say 7 days are going to be bouncing through, seeing friends and things like that. And then the remaining 10 days or so is looking at various different places in Tennessee to see where to live. And we've got some sites close to Knoxville, close to Nashville, a bit further on, either there, a good couple of hours, different directions and things.
Have you ever heard of Bush's Baked Beans?
Bush's Baked Beans. No.
Okay, it's an American brand.
Baked beans, yes, but
it's a specific American brand. They feature a dog in the advertisements. We actually, just outside of Pigeon Forge, they actually have their headquarters and their plant, and it actually has a sit-in dining restaurant, which is really something we just stumbled upon just driving down a road at random. So if that's ever on your site, there's just all that type of stuff. Because that is an amazing area. It's one of the areas of the country I wish we could get up more often and visit to. But it's been very, very interesting. But you do have to watch out for the Sheriff Roscoe P. Coltrane's into some of these small southern cities when you're out here. Well, we got the great Tombi with us tonight. Right now, I've got a couple questions for you from the chat. I've got a few more that are walked in here that I still have that I want to get to. But I want to take a moment here when we got people in the middle of the show. I will talk about it again at the end. I referred to our late night streams on Wednesday and Friday, trying to get those back together because life and everything, 10 o'clock both nights. But we've come up with a special theme name for our Friday nights. We get more adult on these late night streams, especially on Friday night. Some of the news stories can be really interesting. But because of last week, we had 2 3-hour streams. I mean, I'm after 2 o'clock in the morning, going to bed, going to work the next day, except Saturday. But it's fine. It was cool because the chat was awesome and how we had fun. But because of 2 topics that we came up with, that we spent an hour plus on both of these topics. How the fucking hell, and yes, I said it that way for the fun of it, to see you laugh too. We spend time on freaking fruitcakes and porta potties. So our Friday night streams are now late night with Dadman, from fruitcakes to porta potties.
Do you know what? I would have laughed if you called it cakes to shitters.
I figured I couldn't get away with it that open, but that's fruitcake.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yes, Fallout Dave was one that helped encourage. He was there, upholding the dignity of our intellectual debates. Exactly. So
bloody porta potties, eh?
I know, it's bloody porta potties. I like the way the my face on it though. It's like, and it says DMW 55 stop and go.
Stop and go.
I'm like, what the heck? So we've come up with a name for the Friday night stream. So
amazing.
I hope to see y'all there. Of course, this Wednesday night we'll be doing it again. But I wanted to show that really briefly while we did this, because the times are flying. Have you ever noticed how fast time flies on some streams, especially when you're having a lot of fun?
If we're not careful with the Hump Day Chinwag, we could probably talk 6 hours, if not longer, because some of our intros have gone way past the hour mark, and
just
that's
the
intro. Yeah.
Wow.
That
Jeez.
is just me going around 6, possibly 8 other people, what you've been up to, what we've been doing, this, that, and the other. And it's squirrels. Very, very easy. The tangential
Yeah.
points that we're all bringing up, I could turn around to Hanayama and say, "What you've been up to?" Just arguing, and he will turn around and say, "Yeah, I've just been arguing on Twitter with the usual idiots," and he will say something, and then we all hook into a subject.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, 10 minutes have gone by, and that happens constantly.
I know. It's like I talked
Time
about with the
flies.
game, and it's 30 minutes. I haven't given the answer. We've actually had one before where I was doing it with one of my friends, and then it's like I was tired, hour and a half. Okay, somebody come in and said, "You're quitting." I just got here. We ended up going
Yep.
3 more hours. We went 3 more hours. We have done an 8-hour stream just off the cuff, random squirreling on topics, and it's just we go with the flow with it. So
yeah, Legatus.
yeah,
1 hour intros, normal for F&T. Yeah.
I
The thing is, we're not
I can
F&T.
imagine. I know, it's like, let's get to going. I at some point I'm like, I get anxious and want to get started. So
Now,
make sure to make those. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, normally, so when I first started the Hump Day Chinwag, I would come up with the complete agenda, the various different topics, and then would go from top to bottom and just see how far we went through. And it could be 5 topics, it could be 10, whatever. And when we got to episode 30, I actually switched it up, and I turned around and said, everyone should find a topic that they want to discuss, something that's close to them, because I will just pick science related, sci-fi, TV, films, whatever. And generally it's things that trigger me, and it might trigger other people on the panel. But there was occasions where you would be talking and various different people on the panel wouldn't have a great deal of input. And I looked at it as a way of improving the podcast by saying, right, okay, absolutely everyone has got to find one subject that they want to talk to. And we will go through every single person's subject. Doesn't matter what it is. Yanni did animal rescues the other day. Abe does AI. Jack does a lot of politics related stuff. I do everything, pretty much everything. I really no holds barred. I will talk about anything because I can. Hanayama mostly talks about Ubisoft and how crap they are, as well as his anime. So I'm leaning into their strengths for what they can add to the conversation, and it makes it more well-rounded. And we all learn various different things as we're discussing. So it made a lot healthier kind of like podcast, and that's the format that we're going. So it's not a strict agenda, but we kind of like say. Whoever's on the panel that evening, go make sure you've got at least one thing to discuss with
there's just
the
freedom. There's just freedom, and I think it creates a lot less stress when you're not having to micromanage and plan so much, that you just let it. You have a broad general idea, and then you just go where it goes. Like I said, one night in about 3 hours, we hit 35 to 40 topics. We went back. One time we were talking about cereals, just freaking breakfast cereals. And I got an Australian friend that hates the hell out of Weetabix.
But
I
love
it's
Weetabix.
He hated Weetabix, but it's an Australian. But we took 3 3-hour streams to finally consider we finished our talk on breakfast cereals. And it allows for more fun and topical, and I think also make it fun for the audience to, hey, look, I'm actually participating in this. They heard what I said. They're talking about it because, you can just go get talked to and talked at, anywhere, but to actually involve the audience. Go ahead.
We involve the audience every step.
Speaking of that, as soon as we said that, look who showed up.
Look who's turned up.
Yeah.
And Yanni will attest to this. One thing that whether we're on the podcast, whether we're on our own channels, every single one of us makes sure that the chats are involved every step of the way. Questions in chat, laughing with the chat, get them involved, because that, apart from obviously building up your channel and building up the reputation in the community, it would be a hollow kind of like piece of entertainment if we're not acknowledging that there main reason we're discussing things, the main reason we're talking about things is to talk with people watching. So if you're not involving your audience, then you're really not doing the right thing at all. Your focus, your priorities are completely wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, if suddenly you're 1,000 to 20,000 a stream content creator, chat flies past pretty quickly on my streams, let alone when there's 200, 300,000 people in the chat. So you have to be very selective at that point, and I understand that.
Yeah.
But certainly know where your roots are. Know where your roots are in terms of your chat or everything.
Right.
And my chat are everything to me, and I'll do everything I can do to support them, do everything I can do to support the other streamers. But coming back to just time and time flying, one of the other main reasons why I turned around and said to the panel, everyone come up with an idea for a topic, is because I do all of the video creation, I do all of the music creation, I do all the thumbnails, I research the topics. And what I was finding is I was spending probably just as much time on the panel that I was for prepping for some of these things. So it was my way of not so much as sloppy shoulders, give some work to everybody else, but relieve some of the burden that was just sat with me all the time with having to create all these things.
Right.
Don't get me wrong, it has to be done.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to put the effort in, but just by making that small change has made life so much easier. Because I turn around to the guys and say, give me a topic by 5 o'clock. If it's not in by 5 o'clock, I'll make something up for you.
And it gives them some buy-in in the whole discussion too. See,
Yeah,
I don't
a bit of
go
ownership.
and I don't go that far, but I do encourage whoever I have. And I have generally a rotating group of people. I have asked certain people to come on. You're not. You're not. If you've been invited late nights,
No.
you don't. You're great at what you do. But see, what I do, we truly do is improv. I have a basic sort of few things to talk about, and we truly, if the panelist says something, we'll deal with it. And so nobody has to really do any prep for it. We just come out and have a fun time with it in the chat. I mean, it just. So I agree with. I like that too. A little difference is that I can see that. That's a good approach to get the other people that you have, especially as you have a regular group, to do that. It buys in and it gets a topic of them. And, like you said, you have only so much time in the day. Like we talked about the video editing and crap.
Yeah.
That's why I don't have time to do that. And
video
that's not where I'm at.
Takes time.
I know. But what I've had to learn is how to be flexible.
Yes.
When I started my job, I was like A, B, C, D, could not function. So I've had to learn even in my real work. It drives the young people crazy because ba here, ba there, and you pull it all together. It's kind of the same thing as conducting, like you said, you're herding cats. I've done that. Or we call them squirrels. It's squirreling on our channel. Yep. And, I appreciate when I see comments like this from B from O. It's hard for me to read about that stuff about myself, but, he says he enjoys that I'm good about engaging the viewers while also able to talk with the guest. That is required a lot of patience, a lot of learning, and just honestly my job comes into it because I talk more than most accountants do. It's like whatever. My wife's like, you talk too much, but it's like like I told you earlier, there is no such thing as a bad question. You just ask it and do that. But honestly, I do want people to be involved, whether in the chat or the panel, and that's okay. This is the perfect thing here. She sits in her panel, keep forgetting topics. But you know what? Exactly. I've seen her in action. And I tell you what, that's what our squirrel streams are designed for. I've got people that don't even have streaming channels that I have on. I got people that like to come on just to talk with us in person, and we spend time together just hanging out as friends. We'll talk about anything. You don't need to come in with the topic and stuff like that. And you know what? Hell, like I told you, 35 minutes later, I forgot to answer the friggin' question I asked about where in the USA. So if everybody's reminding me, get on with, like the scene from Monty Python, Holy Grail. Get on with it. Get on with it. Exactly. Be rando. And thank you for that, Dave. Appreciate that. Yeah. Okay, let's hit a couple more questions here. Let's do a rapid fire round, okay?
Yeah, let's
All
go
right.
for
Like I
it.
said, I am working some new formats with this year.
I'm the guinea pig.
Yes, you're the guinea pig, and then
Yes.
we'll fine tune it, and we'll be even sharper on Yarn Witch on Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. So hey, okay. Um, favorite food?
Favorite food is beef stew with dumplings.
Ah, okay. And let me ask: your dumplings, are they like the doughy
Sweet.
bready? What?
Yeah. So they're
Okay.
basically fat and flour. So
Ah,
very doughy, highly fatty, but soak up the stew and taste amazing.
oh God, you've got to try Southern made chicken and dumplings. Then get the
Mate,
puff dumplings.
just give me wholesome foods,
Yeah.
stews, cottage pies, shepherd's pies, all of these stereotypical filling, wholesome foods, and I'm there. Give me nice fresh bread to dip it in, and I'm like a happy pig in shit, to be honest. I love it.
Well, you'll have to follow up on that one later. Heavy on the cheese and
Oh,
pineapple.
Yanni said cheese.
I
Ugh,
know. Oh
disgusting.
yeah, it's like Cheese Appreciation Day today.
I hate cheese.
Mrs. If you're still out there, what was it today? Is Cheese Appreciation Day, and she had a poll of what I hate stinky cheese, but if I eat cheese, I want it melted.
I
Like
hate all cheese.
you period. Even if it's grilled cheese sandwich.
Grilled cheese sandwiches, all that. Nope. The only time I'll have cheese is on a pizza because there's other things on the pizza that are stronger in flavor and I can just ignore the cheese at that stage. Or
Yeah.
fake cheese because it's on a burger. That's the only time I have cheese.
Mrs. Can eat cheese straight. I see. When I grew up,
Smells like feet.
we weren't raised on cheese. We didn't have burgers. We always had
Mhm.
options without cheese. Now every damn restaurant wants to put cheese on everything, and it
Yep.
pisses me off because I don't always want cheese. But
Yep.
all right. So okay, I had to clarify about the dumplings because you'll love good southern chicken and dumplings. Okay.
Do you know what I'm looking forward to trying is
What's
your
that?
biscuits and gravy because obviously
Yes.
there's this age-old
Yes.
argument between scones and biscuits.
Oh
And
yes.
I'm
Yes.
intrigued to see what this white sausage gravy sauce jizz over the top of these flaky biscuits is all about.
Dave said more cheese equals less porta potties.
Yes,
Yes,
this is also true.
exactly. Well, you'll have to figure out if you like fruitcake or not. Stay around, folks. I'm going to reintroduce what our Friday streams are about in a little bit. All right. Favorite beverage?
Favorite beverage is dandelion and burdock soda.
Oh, really?
And
How would
a
you
very
describe
close
it?
second is a very, very strong cup of tea.
Ah, okay. Well, yeah, you got to try biscuits and gravy. You do. You have to from a good place, especially if they make the biscuits and the sausage gravy from scratch.
Yep.
I mean, the canned stuff depends on what you get. It's not so bad, but you got to have a good biscuit with it. And I know we had a friend that always loved the KFC over there, but always argued. He called them scones, and we're like, those are biscuits. They're not sweet. They're not. I mean, they're just doughy thing. Like in the South, you got to have butter on those biscuits. So
yeah, I mean the thing is, scones in the UK is essentially a cake mix. It's sweeter, and biscuits are more flaky. They're savoury.
Yeah, and that's
how I
Mrs.
kind of like attribute it.
Well, the Missus has actually been to London before. We got a poster in the tube up there in the bathroom and stuff, and so she was trying to tell it to a Brit that no, our biscuits are not your scones, and so when are don't worry, you ought to see. Hey, have you? I have got to send you a DM one time, Tombi, on the Fallout Dave. You know it's auto incorrect. We have actually termed the term dadmanese. That I formed my own language here because the missus dadman, and it's usually the ladies that have it right. There's some female friends, the missus. I go and it could say the sky. Say the sky is blue. Blue sky is up right now, and they're like, they understand what I said because of stupid voice chat. But it's amazing the way they. Yes. Speaking of that, I can't wait. I can't wait again. I gotta let's see. We got to bring this up because we got on the topic of this is what I do on the squirrel streams. this is, and I like a chill chat like this,
Yep.
chilling with, because we're having fun. But this is topical, so we respond to the topic. Because what I said earlier, on Friday nights, our new uh, Friday night squirrel streams now are dedicated to two topics we recently had: fruitcakes and porta potties. So on Friday nights, it's late night with Dad Man, from fruitcakes to porta potties. So make sure to be here. You never know what's going to come up or come out. So but yes. So
Yanni's telling me off right now because she knows full well that she's on the tournament. Told you.
Maybe. Oh, there you go. All right.
See, the funny thing is that with me, Yanni, and a few of the others, I count Yanni as family, and you can tell because I know exactly what's going on. The second she says, "Yeah, I'm on my mobile," she's having a poo.
All right.
Dear.
Damn. Wow. The secrets we learned. That's a great follow-up question for Wednesday night. So, but it is. Hey, Dave said, as long as you're not eating a fruitcake too. So the local dude, have you ever had fruitcakes? Have you heard of fruitcakes?
So, I mean, for the Brits, our fruitcake's slightly different. But the image that you brought up on your Friday night stream, I have seen that type.
Yeah.
And what we would say is that there are glacier fruits like glacier cherries. There could be kind of like apple pieces, raisins, and all that good stuff in there. So we do get things like it, but generally our fruitcake's slightly different.
Okay. That's interesting. We learned about it. They're usually better with a little more alcohol, and they could take a week to make. So, and they're usually round, but this is just a section that's cut out. So, all right.
Yes, our fruitcakes are heavily dosed in alcohol. I mean, you could use one as a Molotov cocktail by the end of its run. Just set fire to it, and it's just a bomb in its own making.
That's the low version because they're in circles. Yeah. So which corner store subs? I wonder where that would be, because I tell you, I love a good submarine sandwich. So, but hey, all right, let's get back to the.
There.
I know.
Give me a sandwich any day, and I'm in heaven. But I'm not allowed bread at the minute because I'm on a bloody diet.
I know. I understand that. I gotta get a doctor later this week and get reminded how bad I am. All right, let's get through favorite hobby, non-gaming.
Favorite hobby, non-gaming, I would have to say is definitely IT related. Mostly it's going to be coding. So I spend a lot of time developing my own applications to do XYZ, or just having the challenge of doing XYZ. I'm actually building, and I need to wrap it up actually and get it out there. I'm actually building a website for small streamers, which helps with kind of like improving engagement, improving their networking between small streamers. So anybody that's got a kind of like a content number of subs less than 5,000, you can basically log into this site, and it allows you to talk to other similar size creators. Any big creators, they're not allowed to sign into it. I've done it deliberately to make sure that the focus is on the little guy, because quite often YouTube will push the big ones and the smaller guys fall by the wayside.
Yeah.
Give me coding any day.
Again. I hope it works. Get it back, Bowsette. Sorry that happened again. British food apparently involves a lot of alcohol and fire. Did they invent baked Alaska? No?
So a case of the ice cream in the meringue and put it in the oven.
Yeah.
I don't know if we invented it, but sounds kind of Frenchy. They're kind of like fancy with meringue.
Yes. All right. Well, we got 3 out of 10 questions. Okay, let's go again. Favorite color?
Yellow.
Okay, interesting color. Okay, favorite movie?
Favorite movie, Matrix.
Ooh. Favorite sport, if any?
Favorite sport is rugby.
Oh, yes.
Freaking sport.
You want to see somebody get into it? The missus. She can kick ass. When we watch, with the rare times we can watch rugby, she will tell you too about the time we saw. It's a real man sport, not all this wussy American football. It's like The dude got his head busted open wide, and he ran off to the side. They took duct tape, not pads, not bandages.
Yep.
They just took duct tape, wrapped his friggin' head. He went back out and played. That's a sport.
Rugby is what ended my military career.
No.
Yep. Because so this arm, you probably can't see it very well, but there's a long scar that goes down this arm. This arm is now shorter than this arm because I had to have a massive lump of bone removed. So I was playing rugby against a professional Qatar team where they just employed ringers from New Zealand. I managed to fold my arm back. I wasn't paying attention to it, and I really didn't feel it. I carried on playing, and I caused systemic nerve damage from basically my wrist joint all the way up through to my spine. And the nerves decayed to the point where, I've got permanent disabilities now, all because of playing rugby. Yeah. I love the game. Absolutely love the game of rugby.
Yeah. It's tough. It's definitely, we love watching it when we can. No, Mrs. didn't play rugby. She did many things, but we did not meet that way. We talked about how we met on our stream. It's actually so close that we almost didn't meet because I almost didn't go to her brother's birthday party, but then I did, and it all worked out from there. What's your favorite dessert, candy or sweet?
Oh, my favorite dessert, candy or sweet? If I was to pick up anything, what would it be? If I was to, it would be ice cream, definitely. Okay. And particularly when it comes to ice cream, it's usually a salted caramel toffee type ice cream. So I can have something as plain as a vanilla ice cream with a salted caramel swirl in it, and give me that, and that's heaven. Brownies are a close second. Hot brownies with proper homemade vanilla ice cream on top. Chef's kiss. All
right. Favorite video game?
Not in terms
of streaming, but what your favorite game that you just like playing?
So World of Warcraft. So I started playing World of Warcraft back in 2020, back in 2004 when it first came out, and I'd just come off the back of completing Final Fantasy VII, so I was into the zone with RPGs and grinding. World of Warcraft came out, 3D World, first game on the PC I heavily invested in, and I've got probably 20-odd thousand hours worth. I've got years lost in that game now. Okay. And I still play it to this day.
Awesome. Related question, PC or console?
PC. Master Race.
All right. Now, Mrs. plays on PC. I don't. I'm
keyboard and mouse as well.
Yep. Okay. She does that too with Fortnite and stuff like that. Yep. I am PS5 mostly. I can switch a little bit. All right. Which leads to probably an question you touched on earlier. Coffee or tea, and how do you drink it?
Right. And this is actually a good answer. So tea is my preferred. I like to stew my tea bag for a good 2 to 3 minutes, and I like it as strong as possible with the tiniest bit of milk. It's got to have the ability to hold a spoon up vertical. It's kind of like, this thing could probably strip paint off a wall. Now, that being said, I never was a coffee drinker. I started drinking coffee middle of last year. That was basically the first time I started drinking coffee. I never really enjoyed the taste. And all of a sudden, I got a lot older, and suddenly I enjoy coffee. And not just any coffee, but give me the strongest, bitterest black coffee you can find with strength off the charts. That's how I like my coffee. Jet black, strong as anything. And there's a whole pot of coffee pods behind me now because I've got my little coffee maker in the corner. And every now and again, I just turn around whilst on the stream, bang, get a really strong coffee out.
Look at this. Nothing more romantic than sweat and concussions. She did not play rugby. She's tougher than she leads on, but we Americans do tea in the ocean, so we had to drink coffee.
Mate, Dave, I'm coming over to Boston to right that historical wrong. I am bringing plenty of tea bags, and I'm going to tea bag every single American I can see.
Okay. Well,
It's going to
again,
happen live on a
it's
stream as well.
that works. Not a coffee or tea drinking stuff. Listen, I'm like you though. Yeah, you need to not try to do a damn stream with 1 cup of coffee. You need that coffee I sent you earlier today, that cup of that size. But yeah, I like you. I want my coffee dark black. I don't want any. I call my dad a sissy when because he always put cream in it. He put sugar in it. Even my mom did only put cream. But I'll tell you the reason why I started drinking coffee was my granddad. He was in the Seabees in Guadalcanal in World War II. And I just looked up to him and he drank it that way. So that's the way I drank it. And hide. No, you're not going to hide. Jeez.
Yeah, she's going to hide because she turned around and said, I need to send you some Starbucks roast.
That's what.
You'll never catch me drinking Starbucks or coffees or anything like that. Never.
Yeah, either way, by the way, I will still keep saying the state. I'm an Oregon State Beaver. Oregon State Beaver. Because it's Oregon, not Oregon.
It is Oregon.
Yeah,
it is
exactly.
Because I was taking the piss out of Yarnwich for this, and they kept on saying Oregon. I'm like, what? There's an E in it. Oregon.
It's Oregon. All right.
No, I don't want no British teabagging.
No.
Well,
like the trail, Oregon Trail. Yes.
Yes, correct. Dysentery all around.
So that. How long did that take our lightning round? That was probably 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
All right. Well, we'll have to discuss that.
She's going to get banned in a minute if I'm just going to ban her from chat.
No, I tell you what, I think her and I could talk that on one of our late night. If she came on a late night stream, we'd probably spend 6 hours on that round in circles. But I tell you, that's why I love my late night streams, because we can take, as long as I can stay awake and the panel is, we can go as long as we want. Or is gone. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. That gets our lightning round. Now, let me ask. I'm going to cut off because I've got about 20 minutes because the missus will be live at 9:00 tonight watching Batman the Animated Series.
Oh, nice.
She's doing the first 5 episodes. So if y'all have not, if you enjoy it, try to go over there, watch her for a bit, chat, sit back. Watch them with Cosme. So if you can, it's our first time watching it. We've never watched it. So
so you're in for a treat then.
That's what I've been told by so many people.
You're in for a treat. I'm kind of jealous of people that haven't watched that series for the first time.
Oh, really?
Because the Batman the Animated Series has got a special place in most people's hearts because it's that good.
Well, so if y'all like it too, if you come over and watch it with us a little bit later in about 20 minutes. So with that, I got a couple more things for the great Tombi here. Dude, this is awesome. I'm having fun tonight. Thanks. All right. First Foot. Are you familiar with that celebration?
First Foot? No idea.
Apparently it's an English, Scottish, Isle of Man thing where at New Year's Eve, everybody stays outside the house. And you're supposed to, they look for a tall guy with dark hair is supposed to be like to get the first one. You bring in gifts to the homeowner to bring in good luck in the new year. So you've never heard of First Foot?
Never heard of it.
Wow. Okay.
Never, ever heard of it. And I've lived all over. So I grew up in an armed forces family. So I've lived all over the UK. I've lived abroad as well. And lived in Scotland, lived in Wales, lived down south, all over the UK. Never heard of that. I'm looking. I'm Googling.
Yeah, I like what Fallout Day said. Yeah, to Yarnwich, we're all met here. You fit in well. That's why we call them squirrel streams. We go all over the place. But you do have this wonderful thing. This I can't believe it's a thing. I just can't believe that's a real thing.
Old penises.
We have got to do that here, missus, in our town. We have got to draw. We've got to go out and do this on our streets here and see if that will speed them up. Oh my gosh, that's too funny with that. Oh gosh, never thought that would be a thing, but yeah, it's a New Year's type celebration. It's
mostly Scotland. Yeah, it's mostly a Scottish tradition.
Yeah. But I just was curious if you had ever heard about it. But hey,
no. So and it's surprising because obviously it used to be very common up in Aberdeenshire, and one of my friends who was a girl when I was younger. Cough, cough, cough. Before I got married, she was Scottish and lived up in Aberdeen, and I was up there for a number of Christmases and never actually heard of it. So yeah, Scotland's first foot in tradition.
Welcome, Buddy Hepburn. He said we do hogmanay, but not first foot. Dad doesn't want people he knows he's coming in the house as is. Okay,
100%, 100%. Unless they're bringing iron brew, buckfast, a deep fried pizza, and probably some deep fried Mars bars, no one's invited in. How you doing, buddy?
I know who is it? A Nanny Moose, I think, was talking about deep fried Mars bars in our chat Mars recently. We've never had that. We've not had deep fried pizza either. We've had deep fried Oreos and Twinkies at some of the fairs down south, but not Mars bars. I've seen deep fried Snickers, which are close to Mars bars.
Deep fried Mars bars are so sweet that you would only really be able to eat half of it. It's so sweet, but they are really, really nice.
That's the way I felt with some of the Oreos and stuff like that. Is that they sometimes get over the
buddy. It's bloody true though, because they're fucking nuts, especially the jocks.
Yes.
The Jockanese. All
right. Well, we got about 15 minutes. So Domino should make that deep fried pizza. See, this is the thing. A stream like this is so much fun. I've actually had one of these go 3 hours before.
Mate, we could probably do most of the night.
I know. And look, I'll take you up on it. We'll do something again soon.
Yeah, definitely.
But fully loaded nachos. But I want to do a game I kind of told you about. Usually, maybe not for this, but I know with our time differences, I don't know how often you'll be able to make the late night type streams. But I want to do this with you tonight. And I actually had kind of teased it to you, last time when you were on. We're going to call this we're in the USA tonight, folks. We're going to play the game again, but we are going to do it internationally, and we are going to do it. And all salute to our great British friend and all those around the world. The hell from the great Commonwealth, the British Commonwealth, made up of at least 33 nations. I think it's 33 nations, but hey, mostly the UK. Kind of take a line from the great, the Muppet Ride at Disney. But hey, I will give you a headline. Then I will give you 3 countries that are members of the British Commonwealth. And your job is to put the story with the country that it happened. So, locals are great places. Absolutely. Local stores. Yeah, absolutely. So, okay. So let us go with our first story of the night. I am going to go ahead and let me type the countries in real quick. Then I will let's see. I can't talk and type, so I'm doing the best I can.
No, you're fine, mate. You're fine. I'm just keeping an eye on the chat.
Oh, good. Thank you for noticing. I take pride in my. Thank you for noticing. I take pride in my streaking down the street and stuff like that. I got the missus. She says I'm fine. I'm like, I know you are. How are you? She like rolls her eyes. But hey, all right. But okay, here we go. Let's see. Did this story happen in? Let's see here. They could put a damn help button right where I need you to go away, you bastard. It's like StreamYard put a friggin' blue, damn it. They put a little blue help thing up there. I hit enter. Screw you, hippie. I got it done. All right. Did this happen in South Africa, Australia, and Canada? And usually people have already guessed before I've said it. Here's your headline. Concerned citizen pulls over drunk cop, locks him up in cruiser. Yes, exactly, Fallout Dave. It comes out. South Africa, Australia, or Canada. Concerned citizen pulls over drunk cop, locks him up in the cruiser.
For me, it's going to be Australia or Canada, and I'm leaning more towards Australia.
Okay. So, folks in the chat, feel free. Get your guesses in here. So, you say, you said Australia. Okay, we got... I say, yes, my nudist exhibitionist, yes. Hey, you know my motto, if you got it, flaunt it, and if not, go for it anyway. Yarnwich says South Africa. Bounce at South Africa. Peter Vinkman says South Africa.
Feels to me that they've played this game before.
Oh, yeah, they have. Some of these people have, yes, exactly. Mrs. Or anybody else, put your answers in, and then we will reveal the answer. So we got, Tombi says Australia. We got some South Africas and a Florida. Read the headline again. Concerned citizen pulls over drunk cop, locks him up in the cruiser. Did this happen in South Africa, Australia, or Canada? And see, this is where, like, when we have multiple people, we can chat back and forth and stuff. This is
Fallout
one of the
Dave
games. Yeah.
Says Dadman can be really sneaky with this game.
Yeah,
see, buddy, I'm going for Australia as well,
Yeah.
just because of the word cruiser.
Yeah, I had to become sneaky at this game because I had people psychoanalyzing me and analyzing my tweaks and my speaking and pronunciation. So I had to type them out. I got to where I just type. That's cool. Dave said sounds Aussie. All right. Concerned citizen pulls over drunk cop, locks him up in the cruiser. I do not know how to say this word. Pietermaritzburg motorist locked a drunk police officer in his own van. Bild report on Thursday.
Sounds like South
from
Africa.
From Pressbury, South Africa.
Yeah. As soon as you said that first word, is South Africa.
Said on Wednesday that he had seen a police van swerving wildly across the road Sunday evening. The van turned onto Victoria Road, drove into oncoming traffic. At one stage, he stopped. The citizen got out of the car and asked him what he's doing. The unidentified policeman sped off with the citizen in pursuit, who called their emergency number. According to the witness, the van stopped a second time, at which point he confronted the drunk driver. I could smell the booze on him. He refused to get out of the car, so I took his keys. Then he pulled the man out of his van, bundled him into the back, and locked the door.
That's crazy, isn't it?
So according
Can
to
you imagine trying to do that in the US? Jesus.
Listen, I've got some stories for Wednesday and Friday night that will blow your mind. I can imagine. And they do involve some police officers. It's crazy. But yeah, according to the witness, he said the officer said it was his birthday, that his friends had each given him a bottle of alcohol. Then he started to cry. So it gets better. This is the thing with these stories, they get better. Okay. Then the police spokesman confirmed the officer had been arrested, that he had earlier been involved in a collision with the van, as well as an argument with his girlfriend, during which he pointed a gun at her.
Oof,
so man. It's not just Florida, man. Yes. No. Yes. I tell you, this they always this is why sometimes it takes 40 minutes to do an answer, because people start asking questions, this, that, and jump off, or then the stories get so weird. It's like, oh my gosh. All right. We are going to, let's see, hopefully, come on. My computer's a little bit slow right now. All right. We are going to stay within the UK itself. All
cool.
Right, with this one. Let's see. I always ask people if you've read this story or you know about it to hold off. So let me type the respect my thought. Absolutely. So.
Oh, 100%.
No, Dave, I don't. I'm not. That one is just a different thing. All right. So, all right. So let's get the story lined up. Sadly, let's see. Okay. All right. Here we go. We are going to stay in the UK proper itself. We're going to go England, Scotland, and Wales.
Nice.
All right. We're going to go England, Dave, London. Not even the country. Sometimes they say the moon, but okay. Here's your headline: England, Scotland, and Wales. I'm sorry. My computer's deciding to have a coffee break. There we go. All right. Here we go. The headline: Drunk man blames colorblind horse for running a red light, cops say. Drunk man blames colorblind horse for running a red light, the cops say. You say Wales?
Yeah.
All right. Balzat says England. Any other votes out there? So 4 little puppy dogs without tails. Yeah. That we get if it's crime, fire, or general rowdiness, it'll be Scotland. Peter Vinkman said that's Wales, and Peter Vinkman says Wales. Fallout Dave says Scotland. All right. Horse gives it away. Okay. Legatus already has the game down. And he's not played that often. He goes with something not on the board there. So, Wells, although Dave said it could be 50-50s. But he says England because of the horse. So we have one that says one because of the horse, and another says something else because of the horse. All right. Let's see. Do we have any other guesses out there? All right. Let's go with a drunk man blames colorblind horse for running a red light, cops say. A drunken man accused of running a red light in a horse and carriage tried to pin the blame on his pony, according to police. The citizen of England's South Yorkshire.
So it's up north. So it's the UK. It's England. Yeah.
And you allegedly told officers that he only went through the stoplight because his steed, Fred, is colorblind. Officials were not swayed by the 56-year-old's defense, and Mulvaney later pleaded guilty to being drunk while driving a horse and carriage.
Yep.
He was fined about $82, issued a 12-month conditional discharge. He said after his hearing, I had a few pints and thought it was fine. Then whoops-a-daisy, there was a policewoman.
Yorkshire is a lovely place to go, by the way. If anyone comes over to the UK, go to Yorkshire. Don't go to London. Go to
That was it. Finally got one right. Yay.
Yep.
Should have said Pennsylvania.
Most of Yorkshire is lovely. The Yorkshire Dales are really, really nice. Go to Leeds. Go to Harrogate. Very, very lovely end of the country.
Absolutely. All right. So let's see. We're going to do one more story here. Let's see. I'm going to go with.
Hopefully, I'll get this one right because then at least I've got one right.
Yeah, and we're going to go Australia, India, and New Zealand. We're going to go with Australia, India, and New Zealand. Here is your story.
I'm going to guess India straight away.
Okay. All right.
Let's see.
Okay. I can't even read it with a straight face. Yeah, thank you, Mrs. Okay. Engineer, and half the time I read the damn country, and I almost did right there. Engineer sued his ex-boss for repeatedly farting on him. Engineer sued his ex-boss for repeatedly farting on him. Did this happen on Australia, India, or New Zealand?
I want to change my answer to Australia now.
Okay, that's fine.
That sounds like a right Aussie thing to do.
Well, this is probably appropriate if Yarnwich is on the porta potty right now. So she didn't answer the last one. So we'll have to see what she. But the missus with the UK, Davis calling fruitcakes, porta potties. You guys, Valzette said India. Mrs. says India. So India from Fallout Dave. Peter Vinkman says New Zealand, and Legata says India. Buddy says Australia also.
I mean, certainly the Indians are not one for their manners at times, so I can believe it. But Aussies, from the laughing aspect.
Well, you got to send if you let Yarwich know that Fallout Dave. I hope she didn't fall in. So that's our streams. We have fun, especially late at night. Oh, and I've been coming with more gentle stories. The penis pothole was pushing it for earlier for us, but sometimes at night we do get a little bit more rowdy. So, all right. So you said Australia, correct?
Yeah.
We got other people.
Started off India, went to Australia.
Okay. Engineer sued his ex-boss for repeatedly farting on him in Australia.
Yeah.
There you go. You got
one out of three.
There you go. And it was in Melbourne.
Yeah,
the court case was in Melbourne. Basically, in March, the Court of Appeal in Australia mulled over a peculiar case that involved an employee who claimed that his boss's constant farting was a form of bullying. The court had to decide,
Imagine raising that with your HR department. I'm being bullied. How are you being bullied? He's farting on me.
Sweaty ball. Hey, I didn't start sweaty balls. It was one of the women that started sweaty balls. Okay. Yeah. So at least the porta potty's not that dead. Now, if it's an outhouse, you fell in.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. The court had to decide whether or not the flatulence could indeed be considered harassment in the case of a 56-year-old man who quit his job at an engineering firm because of the stinky treatment. In a lawsuit against the supervisor, the engineer accused the man of routinely farting on him throughout the week. He referred to his alleged bully as Mr. Stinky. That his boss regularly thrusted his bum at him and passed gas. So he said, I would be sitting with my face to the wall and he would come into the room, which was small and had no windows. He would fart behind me, walk away, do it 5 or 6 times a day.
Just coming in and cupcaking him. A bit of a Dutch oven.
To counter out the attacks, he said he would spray aerosol at his bully. He also received bullying phone calls from other co-workers. He saw damage of about 1.8 million Australian dollars. And every case has 2 sides. The boss retorted that his alleged serial farting was meant in a humorous way. He alleged that he may have done it once or twice, maybe, claimed it was not with the intention of distressing or harassing. Whether the fart attacks were meant to be harmful or not, we'll never know, as the Court of Appeals ended up dismissing the case. And there you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So, you can't really... I mean, the thing is, there's no lasting harm for it. It's unpleasant, granted, but there's no lasting harm from it. So they'll just throw it out. What a freaking joke, though. Just coming past and just farting on a colleague. Lovely.
I know. It's like... Okay. Yeah, absolutely. So we are now at the top of the hour. Somebody check on Yarn Witch. She's on Twitter sometimes and stuff like that. It's like what is just appropriate to just disappear. But anyway, we got her coming up Wednesday night. But let me talk to you. Let's get back to you for just a few seconds, a few more minutes in the time, because we need to wrap up. It's late for you over there, and Miss is about to start her stream. But tell us a little bit, tell people where they can find you, and just again summarize what you're about.
So, Tombi, you'll find me on YouTube, Rumble, Kick, Twitter, and on Twitch, mostly under the Real Tombi. I stream anything from gaming-related content, game with friends, game with the likes of Yarn Witch, game with the wife. Very much wholesome streams, so you'll find those almost every day of the week. On a Wednesday, you'll find the Hump Day Chinwag, which is me, plus a panel of at least 8 other people talking about TV, news, films, and everything in between. And Tuesdays and Thursdays, you also find the 2Ts podcast, Tombi and Tam, which is both me and the wife, where we just generally just talk about anything that's going on, anything in our lives, anything that the chat are bringing up. Most of the time is a wholesome conversation between 2 adults and involve the chat. And a lot of the time we're talking about our move to the US. So definitely join us for that. My biggest one is got to be the Sunday Spotlight, or the biggest highlight for me, the Sunday Spotlight over on the weekend, which is my chance to kind of like pay back some of the karma that I've found with my growth as a content creator. And it's my opportunity to look at small streamers and small creators. The most recent one we did on Sunday was all focused on art streamers. So it was a good 8 art streamers and creators that we focused on. Definitely check that out. And yeah, anytime you want to reach out, anytime you want to help with anything, just come and find me over on Twitter, over on Discord. I'm always happy to pop onto streams, always happy to come and chat to people. And likewise, if you want to jump onto the Hump Day Chinwag, now it's a little bit earlier in the evening for certainly the Americans, but at 8 o'clock UK time, GMT, that's when we have the Hump Day Chinwag. And if you're interested, just reach out.
I will.
Thank you very much indeed to have me.
It has to be a day off, because usually that's about 3 o'clock and I'm still at work till about 5. So, but yeah, absolutely. If y'all still going, then maybe one time join in progress. But yeah, absolutely. Thank you for the invite. And of course, sub to the Tommy's channel. Legatus has the link right here.
Cheers, Legatus.
Absolutely. I tell you what, I love this guy as a mod. He's everywhere and does
He's
a lot
everywhere.
of work on so many channels and everything else. Oh crap. You know what happened to my outros? Crap. I know. I had my outros all lined up and it's like, what the hell?
The world disappeared.
Well, damn it. Well, shoot. That's not good. Give me 1 second, folks, because
Mrs.
has started, but you know, she knows
Legatus just saying there, come back in 2 days as Dadman chills with Yanni. And there's the
Absolutely.
link. Thank you very much indeed, sir.
Absolutely. That's going to be a riot. Y'all will not be displeased with that.
She might still be stuck on the toilet, granted.
I know that
we will try and
you make
sort
sure
her out.
you give her hell for it tomorrow night, though. That would be funny on the
Oh,
chin
hell yeah.
wag. Oh yeah. By the way, Legatus or Buddy, one of the mods, can y'all put the Mrs. link in where she is now? Because like I said, folks, please subscribe to her. She is the one that deserves it and everything. And I just, I would not be here without her. The graphics and all that you see. Bear with me. I'm going with my outro, but I had it all set up and I don't know where it is right now. So because she worked hard on these graphics and I do want it to come up so you can see it. But folks, make sure you subscribe to her channel too, and
yeah, definitely
go over there. Because I tell you what, I don't know how people like Yarnwich, and especially my wife. My wife has this ability to just talk. I feel like sometimes I'm just rambling, but Mrs. is coherent and nice, very organized. She does everything what she can do. Yes, there's the live stream for the Batman. Please go sit over there and watch it with us tonight. We've never seen it. But yeah, there's the link to her channel. So absolutely with that. But to finish plugging myself, she always hates it when I say refer to plugging. So anyway, it's just that I use plugging
as you're not pegging yourself.
No, exactly. It's like everybody looks at me like, Dad Man, what's your phrasing? Like I said, we create Dadmanese around here. But listen, this is a graphic. This is one of Yarnwich's newer. She let me have the newer avatar. So this is join us. Yeah, we have missed a lot of cartoons. Yeah, but join us Wednesday night for this wonderful stream. It's going to be a blast. You will not regret it. I actually have see if she can work to come in on that late night stream. That would be wonderful to have that also too. That is Wednesday night. I have messed everything up. Actually, no, I can save it though. I can save it because I go back a couple of shows. I won't have everything there, but what the hell is it? It's Monday night. Damn it, I'm getting confused. All right, that's why I have 3 different calendars, streaming and bill paying, so I don't forget because I'm playing 2 different houses. Come talk with me and JT about sports. We're going to wind up the college football national championship is on right now. Notre Dame, Ohio State, see who wins, see what we think. The NFL playoffs, poor JT's team got nuked in the first round. And we do want to get NHL hockey, and we do want to get into some world soccer. JT is a fan of a team in Germany, being from descent. So, hey, we like to do it. Miss Mark Muse was in here talking some soccer earlier. Love to have you if you have time. If or something, helps push in that direction because we will talk Canadian football. We will talk many other sports as we go about things. So, of course, chill chats or something, or what I do solo randomly, or sometimes I'll ask somebody to come on. I'll play a game or read a news story. Just it's just hanging out. Of course, Fortnite fun with me and friends, and sometimes with just me and the missus, or just me by myself. So. What have I thought you went to bed, Brogu, but hey, good luck. There's the streams and VODs, youtube.com, twitch.tv, and on Twitter or X, all Dadman Walking 55. If it ain't got a G, it ain't me, because there's somebody Dadman Walking 55 out there using my avatar on Twitter. That ain't me. So make sure it has the G for the real thing. On that note, I think that's it. Make sure, let me get back up here. There are 2 questions we didn't get to. Sorry about that. People had asked. We'll catch that, have you back another time. And this, I think, is where the missus is right now, live now. So go over there, join in. I'll be over there in a few minutes after I'm done talking with Tombi. Tombi, it's been great, man. I appreciate what you've done for me, the missus, and the channels, and all the best to you. And like to see more of you in the future, too.
Yeah, 100%. It's been an absolute pleasure, my friend. Anytime.
Fishing grits.
Likewise. Fish and grits.
Yes.
That's ground up corn and fish. Nice. Give it to me.
Add plenty of butter and salt, but hey.
Yes.
Well, thank you again, Tommy. We appreciate it.
More than welcome, my friend.
All right.
Cheers, chat. You've been amazing.
See you at the missus, and tomorrow night at 9. Bye, all.